Hello and welcome to Patched. I'm your host Paul James, and today I'm joined by Matto Phillips, and Matto Phillips only. Damo's dead.
Taking my spot for once.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Terminator? No, he's not.
Oh,
Terminator.
yeah.
I'm the Terminator.
Yeah. Well, have you got a little head that you can kind of just throw up in the corner? I don't have anything.
I'll cremate Damo. I've got something.
You're gonna cremate Damo? I mean, I've got one of Noah's crayons. Pink's like the kind of color of a head. We'll improvise. They're one of Noah's crayons,
Right.
for what it's worth.
Tonight,
What do you
Damo will be the blue
Hey,
M&M.
nice.
We'll put him over here. Hopefully,
Yep, we can see him in the background.
right there.
Video listeners, you're in luck. Video watchers, viewers, that thing. Anyway, Patched is off to a flying start as per usual, and today we are going to talk about all the things that we kind of saw from the Game Awards last week, because there was a hell of a lot of things, big things, little things, somewhere in the middle things.
And some other things.
And rather than just going through each and every item, because probably most of you have seen it, if you follow Player 2, you've probably already seen the written piece that myself and Matt Hewson did. So you've kind of got a fairly solid idea what went on, so we can maybe just talk specifically about the things we did or didn't like from the showing. Matto, maybe you can kick things off a little bit.
Or do I go for the big one first, or...
Are we just going to get the Xbox thing out of the way now?
Mine wasn't the Xbox thing.
Okay.
No, we'll go with the Xbox thing first.
We may as well, yeah, now that we've shown that head.
Nice trailer.
It's
interesting.
Sure as shit wasn't expecting him to show off the console during...
Yeah, just, it's a nice little, what would you call it? The old rectangular tower.
It's a tower.
It's a tower, and you just
I've
look
got
and
one
go,
next to this desk at the moment to record this episode. Could be an Xbox.
It's too
not
big
an
to be
Xbox.
an Xbox.
Yeah, true.
It was interesting. It just came out of nowhere. It's like showing some trailers of Halo and... What was the other thing? It was a sports game. Somewhere it was a soccer game or something.
There was a soccer game. Then it kicked off with Forza, which I didn't realise it was Forza until I saw Chief.
I thought it was Need for Speed. I never think put two and two together.
Yeah, it would have been Forza, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Not
I
being
didn't put that either.
Yeah, and I don't think most people did, especially like you see a car and you're like, okay, there's cars in lots of games, and then FIFA, I'm like, okay, soccer, that's a little odd, and then Chief comes rolling out, and you're like, okay, so that was Chief, that was FIFA, that was Forza, right? I'm with you now.
And then it's inside a tower.
Yeah.
Looks nice.
Which apparently, from what I've heard, and I don't know which way they meant. Now these aren't Xbox controls; these PS4 controls. But apparently, the console is like the height of 3 controllers end on end. Now I don't know if it's like that way, and it's that tall, or whether
that's huge,
or whether it's that way. I think it might be that way though.
Yeah, I was gonna say they put the controller next to it. It seems a lot more taller than 3.
Well, for you listeners, viewers, it's the size of this portion of the screen, apparently, which is not very big.
Yeah, Paul's diagram it's about that big.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. But, for what it's worth, that feels quite big. They didn't tell us anything more than that. Phil Spencer got out and kind of rammed the point home afterwards. But that was by far and away the biggest surprise, I think, of the Game Awards.
It's sort of like the first shots fired from Xbox.
Yeah.
Now it's Sony's turn to go, what have you got?
Well, yeah, no one expected. Like, Sony shot a little bit with some specs and bits and pieces, and they spoke about how Spider-Man PS4, if you run it on the PS5, the loading that would take 15 seconds is done in less than half a second. Like, all right, so I guess in some respects, PlayStation has shown more than Xbox, but in others, they've actually shown the box. And for a lot of people, seeing the box and understanding that it's real is kind of what they need. So, there's speculation from some that this is because PlayStation will have an event in February like they did for the PS4, and there's probably some merit in that. Why would PlayStation try and do something different? It worked so well for them last time around.
And it's also too, we haven't heard anything from them this year.
Well, yeah, basically,
they've been very, very quiet.
No E3, no PSX.
There wasn't much at PAX.
Yeah. It was all third-party stuff, yeah.
It was all third-party stuff. There's something big around the corner. There has to be.
Well, to be fair, they were never going to let us play The Last of Us or Ghost of Tsushima at PAX, for example.
Or Death Stranding.
Yeah, and that was, that one was maybe a little bit weird just because the game is so close, but it also
it seemed odd. Yeah.
having messed around with the game a little bit now, it's not a game that would demo very well.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a very
great. I'm running around. Norman Reedus is pissing, and when I try and wrap the camera around to try and see his dingus, he kind of abuses you and and tells the camera. He breaks the fourth wall and tells the camera to turn around.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I've only heard this. I haven't actually played the game yet, but that's what I've been told.
It's one of those games. It's either you like it or you don't like it.
Yeah, there's not much middle ground.
There's nothing in between. There's just one extreme to the other.
And the reviews showed that. I mean, when Joe did his review for us, he didn't score it overly well. There was a few other local sites that didn't score it overly well, and then there were some others that did. You press starts and whatnot, gave it some really glowing reviews.
The PlayStation magazine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a
10 out of
surprise.
10.
There's a surprise. Kojima, please join us as a first-party studio. Come on.
Come on.
But anyway,
Come on, Kojima.
yeah, the Xbox was pretty sweet. The controller, it's like a stubbier version of the Xbox One controller. I don't know if you got a really good look at the control.
Not really. I was still amazed of the tower thing.
Yeah.
I forgot about the controller. I was like, oh wait, I forgot.
Yeah, it's easy to miss given that you do kind of zone in on the console itself and the fact that it is a computer.
Just look at it and go, that's not normal. I'm used to this flat square rectangular thing, not a tower.
But it's got a share button, so they've basically ripped off PlayStation in that regard, which is fine.
That's a first.
Yeah,
it's usually the other way around.
And what's the other thing? Oh yeah, and it is just kind of like the ends, like the handles. It's kind of cut a little bit shorter, so it kind of apparently all their play testing and stuff, like 90 or 95% of the kind of user satisfaction for comfort and those sort of things, it was 95% approval. When they retested after kind of essentially chopping the bottom off a little bit, 98% of people were happy, so that's what they went with. And then they've brought the D-pad over from the Elite controllers, so we're going to better D-pad.
Ooh.
All that sort of stuff. So they're going for a pretty killer sort of controller. It should be pretty sweet, I reckon. They're in a good spot to attack 2020. We'll just see what happens. And holy shit, they've shown some games now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we've obviously got Hellblade, and I'm sure we'll probably talk about that. One of us will talk about that, if not both of us. Well, I was definitely going to talk about it if you didn't.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, well, there we go. I'll get to that at some point. But Xbox has a pretty blockbuster year coming up, which is not in terms of their first parties, and that's not something I'm used to saying about Xbox this generation.
It's very unusual for Xbox to hear those words. First party games, you got,
and lots of them.
Yeah, I know. And
in the first 4 months of the year, and
you got Halo.
Let's be real, you don't actually count January or February because they don't have anything in those. So in March and April alone, they've got Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Game of the Year most years, if it weren't for the fact that it's coming out alongside The Last of Us and Cyberpunk.
And maybe there was another one too. Yeah, that too.
But
and there's another one too, I reckon.
Yes, Doom Eternal.
I wasn't thinking of that one. There's another one there too. It's going to be a tough one for Game of the Year next year.
It's going to be a rough year.
It's going to be crazy.
And then, they've got Ori, they've got Bleeding Edge, which is from Ninja Theory, who then announced Hellblade. You've then got Gears Tactics coming out in April, which was kind of out of nowhere now. They've been a little bit vague as to whether that's PC only or whether it's Xbox and PC, but I mean, Game Pass Ultimate's on PC. If I have to play it on a PC, I'll play it on a PC.
You're slowly turning.
Yeah, slowly. Well, yeah, but I'll happily use a PC if I can use a controller with it.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. So, and also there's Halo. I don't know when that is. Holidays.
Well, Halo comes out with the console, so
whatever that is.
Yeah,
holidays.
Well, yeah, sometime holiday 2020. Anyway, some of the games. I may as well deal with Hellblade briefly because that is an Xbox Series X, the Xbox Sex. Launch title.
Sex?
Xbox Sex, like Series X, will just cut the Series off it, and it's just becomes Xbox Sex.
Yeah,
it's like how we had Xbox One Sad
or Xbone.
Yeah, or Xbone. Like their naming convention just leans itself to some really sexual things and sadness with the Xbox One Sad. That's the Xbox One S All Digital Edition.
Oh right, I see.
So Xbox One Sad. So anyway, Hellblade is looking pretty sweet. Now, I'm sure the game is a long way away, but they did say it was running in-engine, which says a lot about the tech on that console. It looks that good. they like Ninja Theory would have put a lot of time and effort into that trailer, and they would have made sure every single little frame is just immaculate because they want to best show off that console. But
they don't want to repeat.
Sweet. Yeah, and I mean it'll like
must hoard them.
I was in shock when they decided to announce that, given that they had what's its name on the bleeding edge on the way, and they're still a smallish studio, even though they're owned by Microsoft now. So to see that game pop up was pretty awesome. What other games kind of floated your boat? What did you see that you liked?
Let's say Path of the Warrior sort of interested me.
Was that?
I think that's the Oculus one.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, where it goes into 3D and you just do the whole punching. There's going to be a lot of injuries with that game, I feel like. Walls going to be punched.
No more than probably Box VR that on the PlayStation.
Oh yeah, there's the other one. Yeah, the one
that Matt used in his VR versus fat thing.
Yeah, the one that Matt was doing for his weight loss thing.
Yeah, Box VR was that. He did it with Beat Saber, which we'll get to at some point as well.
Oh yeah, Green Day. Yeah, that's right.
Green Day. Yeah, in fact, let's just get that out of the way. Green Day's in Beat Saber. That convinced me that I mean, I've been wanting to buy Beat Saber for a while. Haven't had a chance to do, or haven't done it. Now that Green Day's in it, I'm absolutely doing it.
Yeah, I'll get a VR one of these days. It's on the list of get a Switch, get VR, Sony VR, and
now's the time to do it.
Oh yeah. Probably should have gone the old Black Friday sales, but
Christmas sales will be just as good.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, what else did you see? Because Path of the Warrior looked pretty sweet. The fact that like it was this old retro style kind of beat 'em up, and then all of a sudden it flashes
goes into 3D.
First person in VR, 3D. And all of a sudden you're beating the shit out of people in first person.
I'll say the trailer for Final Fantasy VII looked nice, but it also would have been nice to see some gameplay too.
They just flat out refused to show that.
Yeah, they're just like, nah, you liked all the trailers and that, we'll just keep showing them to you. Like, cool, that's nice. It looks nice. You don't get me wrong.
It looks stunning.
And they speak, that sort of threw me off a bit. I'm used to the old reading text.
PS1 reading the text.
They're like, they start talking like, what the hell? Like, God, he talks.
You haven't seen any of the other trailers then, I guess?
No, not yet.
Oh man.
I just haven't really cared about it too much because it's just a remake. I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever.
I mean, it's a remake of the second best Final Fantasy game. If we flash back to last week's episode,
was number 1, Paul?
9. Go check out last week's episode.
Oh, it's going to get repeated a lot. What was I going to say? I forgot. No, I think next year's going to be like the year of the remakes as well.
We got Resident Evil. We got Resident Evil 3, which was announced at State of Play a couple days before. And then we've got obviously. What are we talking about?
Remakes.
Final Fantasy 7, and I mean that's 2. I don't know if there's any others.
I feel like there's going to be more people jumping on the bandwagon sooner or later.
It's a moneymaker, so.
Oh yeah, it's better than the old remakes than the previous console when Xbox One and PlayStation 4 came out. It's just remastered edition. We'll put some extra polygons in it and not fix the controls.
Well, that's a real advantage of the backwards compatibility stuff, is they can't do that anymore because, if you pick up, say, Cyberpunk, for example, like maybe they'll put out an Xbox, what do we call it, a Series X and a PS5 version, but it is ultimately the same game as what you or I might have if we bought it on the Xbox One, put it in our Xbox Series X, and, I don't know, an update comes in that Series Xifies it, or something like that. And all of a sudden it's 8K and 120 frames and all that sort of bullshit that they're going for.
That's going to do my head in.
Yeah. 8K.
I'm going to have no memory left on my Xbox.
Wait for the 8K patches. They'll be ridiculous.
Oh. Take me 3 weeks to just get the game started. It's going to suck. What else have I got? I've took that one. I say God 4 looks interesting, but same again.
The first ever PS5 game.
Yes.
That was a little sneaky
Gearbox thing.
Gearbox one they threw in. Yeah, third-party exclusive is the first PS5 game we've seen. Why wasn't it Knack 3?
Nobody knows. But yeah, it would have been nice to see some gameplay, but trailer looks very nice. So it looks almost like Darksiders.
Yeah, it does have that Darksiders look.
It's very Darksiders feel. It's very, so
which
that
had
was
me.
nice.
But then it's a looter slasher, as they called it.
Oh, it's one of those games. press
It's
one
like-
button and we're done.
It's like Borderlands, but without the shooting.
Without the shooting, the reloading, the punching, the jumping, just
And
the slashing.
probably the humour.
Oh, yeah, that's probably a good thing. You don't want it to get too Borderlands.
Yeah, after Borderlands 3 and it kind of falling flat a little bit.
Yeah.
With the funnies, anyway.
Yeah, I think they just put too much into 2. I think 2 was just up.
Borderlands 2 was
Yeah.
too good that Borderlands 3 could never compete.
Yeah, it was never going to compete. I think if people are thinking, yeah, it's going to be as good as 2, just, you're kidding yourself, alright? Just calm down.
What
9
else
to
you got?
5. 9 to 5.
Oh,
I don't know.
that was rough.
I was pulling funny faces. I'm going, they had, what was it, rabbits at the start with guns?
Yeah.
I thought, oh, it's
I
just
thought,
some
this
crappy-
could. Well, I thought this could actually be fun. Like, okay, that's like a real piss take on shooters, and then all of a sudden it pans out, and we're serious,
We're serious
but
now.
trying
was it
to
THQ?
be funny.
Was it THQ? I think it was THQ.
I mean, maybe. I don't recall.
THQ Nordic.
Yeah,
it was,
I
I
don't
thought
recall.
it was like a Fortnite rip-off for a second, then it just pulled out to the TV. It was like serious. I thought, it's just another
They're going for the
three-person-
Rainbow Six sort of thing.
or Apex 3-player.
It won't end well.
Yeah, just don't do a Battleborn.
Red
Always
Hill,
learn.
Red Hill Games, whoever that is, as I accidentally opened the trailer.
Oh dear.
But to be fair, like these are people that are responsible for like Max Payne and Quantum Break. Like there's some ex-Remedy people.
And then
Remedy
there was
people
a
in there.
mobile game in there too.
Yeah, Trivial Pursuit on the mobile.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, cool. Nah, that's not going to bring it down at all.
Yeah, no one's going to think any less of your game at that point.
Like everyone's going to forget about the Max Payne, Quantum Break. They're just going to remember
Mobile game, Trivial
Pursuit.
Yeah, not a good way to introduce you.
Yeah, and they're going to be disappointed because there's nothing like Trivial Pursuit. Or maybe it is. Maybe it's a trivia first-person shooter.
You can
that
only
would
shoot
suck.
if you get this question right,
If you get this question correct.
and then don't
It's
miss.
It's like Gears Tactics, but like Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah. Jeez, I'm keen on Gears Tactics. But anyway, keep going. What else you got?
Let's see. Forest's Son looked...
Oh, Sons of the
Okay.
Forest. Yeah.
Oh,
I
Sons of the
hadn't,
Forest.
I hadn't played the original Forest, so
Oh, there's a first one?
yeah. I was at the time, because this was still a work day when it was on. I was at my desk. Well, sorry, I'd been teaching the session beforehand. The Game Awards had started. We were doing some little online game bits and pieces because we're kind of at that point of the year where everything's winding down. So while they were doing that on the projector, I'd kind of I'd extended my display so that on my laptop screen I could still see what was going on with the Game Awards. Then as soon as class ended, I threw it up on the big screen. A couple of kids were kind of sitting there watching it with me at the time. When Sons of the Forest came on, like they were jumping up and down and screaming and banging and smashing shit, and I had not smashing the tables in excitement, like oh shit, that sort of crap. And I had no idea what was going on. Like I knew about the Forest. When I saw them put the font up, I'm like, oh, I recognise that font. Like I've seen that with the Forest, but I don't know how the game plays. And I remember it not reviewing overly well, but it's like this cult following game. So I don't
All
know.
the kids love it then.
Good luck to them. I guess maybe like a wannabe Slender Man or Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, Slender Man.
I
Oh,
don't get it.
Slender Man.
I just don't get it. But
Me either.
I might have to give the first one a go. We'll see how it all works out.
What, Slender Man?
No.
Or the Forest one?
The Forest.
Ah.
It's probably free
Yeah,
on
that's-
Game Pass or some shit like that.
Oh, I don't know. I might have to look into it. Let's see. Surgeon Simulator. Just
Yeah.
looks like Surgeon Simulator. But number one for me, it's a PlayStation. I think it's a PlayStation game.
Ghost of Tsushima
That's the one.
from Sucker Punch, the infamous people.
It is the game Assassin's Creed should have made about 5 years ago.
One in Japan.
Yeah, the one I've been wanting for years.
Have you seen any of Ghost of Tsushima before?
No.
Oh, they did like a proper gameplay demo back at E3 last year. So go and look that up after
Ooh.
this. It's lengthy because that was the weird E3 where they were moving people from room to room to room for different themes and all that sort of stuff.
Oh yes, I remember that.
But yeah, there was like between 5 to 7 and 8 minute long demo that they kind of played to show off the entire game. So go check that out. I think you'll like it.
I thought
it's
it was
not-
the
It's not as
Bethesda one.
Assassin's Creed as you think.
Oh no, it's got swords. You got stabbing people.
And it's in
Fine.
Japan. So there we go.
It's in Japan. I don't care. I thought it was the Bethesda one for a second. Because what's the other one? The Bethesda one didn't have ghosts or something in it.
Oh, Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's really kind of sci-fi.
Because I thought it was sci-fi. I was looking at
fantasy sort of.
Yeah, I kind of got mixed up because I'm looking at it going, hey, this is like samurai.
Oh, cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk, yeah. It's like samurai. Like, hang on. Wait, this is not right. Then I realised, like, it's something different. And I'm like, it's like, I'm actually liking this.
Yeah, the game's going to be... I mean, they've got a good track record. These guys have been... Like, they did Sly Cooper on the PS2. They did Infamous on the PS3. And, again, with Infamous 2 and Second Son on the PS4. Like, they don't put a toe wrong, and yet they're kind of considered a PlayStation kind of B-team studio. They haven't had their Horizon Zero... Yeah, I mean, when you think about the PlayStation studios, people think about Naughty Dog and they think about Sony Santa Monica. So you're thinking Uncharted, Last of Us, and then with Sony Santa Monica, you're thinking God of War. Now, in recent years with Horizon, people kind of put Guerrilla up there, but they didn't used to because their thing was Killzone, and that was, it was good, but it wasn't
great.
Naughty Dog sort of amazing sort of tier. And I personally think of Infamous and what Sucker Punch have done as being right up there with your Naughty Dogs and those sorts. As much as I'm right up Naughty Dog's ass, Sucker Punch are right there or thereabouts. But
they're close. They're very close.
So
they just need one game, and I reckon this is the one game.
So this is a game that's well worth paying attention to. But clearly, I think even within PlayStation, they think that there is a pecking order, and they are behind Naughty Dog because Jason Schreier from Kotaku said this game was explicitly delayed because The Last of Us was delayed. It was meant to come out about Last of Us time, like what the new Last of Us release date is, and when Naughty Dog delayed that kicked
ruined it,
kicked them out and moved them further down. So, but we know it's coming American summer, so our winter, so that's somewhere between. Well, it won't be May because
June and August.
So yeah, June, July, August. That's fine by me. It'll probably be later amongst that because you don't want to get too close to The Last of Us. If you're a PlayStation first party, just let Last of Us do its thing. And then be like, you've finished with The Last of Us? Great, here's this awesome new samurai game. Go for it.
You'll love it.
Yeah. But anyway, that was all your games, wasn't it? What'd you like about Ghost of Tsushima? Just the fact that it should be what Assassin's Creed's doing?
Yeah, it's a samurai ninja game. I know that's all I care about.
Fair.
And stabbing people with sword.
Day one buy.
It'd be close. Maybe I'll do you. I'll get the collector's edition.
That'll be both of us then. If they announce one. If.
Of course they will.
Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time.
It'd be like a big statue.
So on my end, you've already mentioned Final Fantasy VII. That is going to be the shit, but we've discussed that already, so we'll move on. Hellblade 2, we discussed in the end before, but it's looking incredible, and I'm thrilled that they're doing what they're doing. You've ticked off a lot of my games in the end. Bravely Default 2 for the Switch. Like, sure, the first one on the 3DS was pretty good.
Yeah, I forgot about No More Heroes as well.
Yeah, No More Heroes isn't really my thing. I don't quite jive with their humour, but...
If Damo was here, he would be all over it.
Yeah, he'd be jerking it just like Travis Touchdown does with the lightsaber in the game. Bravely Default 2 looks more of the same, which worries me a little bit because the first game was so good on the 3DS, as was Bravely Second, and now even though they had a second game, this one is Bravely Default 2. I'm a little bit confused on the naming convention and the fact that it looks like a 3DS game still. But whatever, good luck to them. What else did we have? We've already discussed the Forest. So some of those League of Legends games look kind of cool. I was a little bit shocked with Dark Alliance. So the Baldur's Gate, like Baldur's Gate being a D&D thing, and then Dark Alliance had Dark Alliance had a few good games back in the day, and they announced this new one. It was, I don't know if you actually got a chance to watch the trailer. It was like this weird person kind of running, but then like all the perspective was really weird, so it looked like they were just flopping around all over the place and fight. It looked really, really bad. And I suspect the game will probably end up being quite decent, but it was a really bad way to debut the game. So the less we can say about that, the better. Weird West, which comes from some Dishonored folks, which Dishonored's not a game I like, but what they showed here with, it's stylistically, it's kind of got a hint of Borderlands to it. It's got
That's what I thought it was to start off with. I thought, is this a DLC for Borderlands or
the DLC.
is it an actual game?
It was just out this past week for Borderlands,
Moxie
so
thing.
we might have to jump back in. Yeah, the Moxie one.
Oh,
But this is like a top-down action RPG. I'm like,
yeah, I saw.
You're talking to me. You're talking to me. I like this. But beyond that, the one that, and we've mentioned a few games that I adore. Ori would have been my game of the year back in 2015 had it not been for The Witcher 3.
Tough. That's tough competition right there.
Tough crowd. Like for me, Ori is a top 5 game of this generation, and the second one will be right up there as well. I think if there's one game that Xbox hasn't had the best track record in the last few years with their first party titles, but with those that they've got, so Bleeding Edge and Halo and Gears Tactics and Ori and all that, the one game I could bet my bottom dollar they will not get wrong will be Ori.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And that says a lot because it's an indie studio that's doing it. But anyway,
Old Moon Studio.
Yeah. So the other one that really kind of knocked me over was Wolf Among Us 2. For a whole host of reasons. Firstly, Telltale was dead. So that's due. Yeah, so
I forgot about that.
The weird thing about it is maybe 6 months after their closure, someone bought the name Telltale Games and started building a studio again. I think they cherry picked a few people that they wanted, but they kind of rebuilt Telltale Games minus a fair few people from before. They also bought some of the licenses back that they had, so Wolf Among Us was one of them, and clearly Wolf is where they've decided they want to start things, I guess, because it was announced, and there's a lot of people like myself that were hyped for Wolf. So they re-announced that, and my jaw hit the floor when that popped up. Like, I thought it would happen eventually because they did get the license and they did rehire some people, but to do that within the space of 12 months, it's
crazy. I remember we were talking about that about this time last year.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, here we go. They've got their first game on the way, and I don't know how long it'll take. It might be still another year before it actually starts to roll out, and I wonder if they go episodic or whether they kind of roll it out in a full thing, maybe Netflix style, where it's still episodic, but you can get it all together, and I don't know. We'll see.
Tough.
But that was outside of kind of the Xbox stuff. That was the thing that I was most hyped for. Did Fast and the Furious Crossroads do anything for you at all?
No.
Yeah.
Let's just not talk about it.
Like, it looks like a labour of love, but it looks like a labour of love that was maybe 5 or 6 years too late. It looks like a pretty old dated game. I don't think so. No.
No movie next year?
Not that I'm aware of. Like, I'm not a Fast and the Furious guy, but
me either. I sort of feel like it's just going to be like, it's like Star Wars. Like, there's a Star Wars film coming out this year. Let's get a Star Wars game. Fast and Furious is coming out.
To be fair, Jedi Fallen Order is incredible.
I know. And I've heard good things. I'm not really bagging it.
And to be fair, you can't basically release a Star Wars game without it coming out in the same year as a Star Wars movie these days.
Yeah, it's just unheard of.
Or at least in like this at the end of the year, we've had The Mandalorian, Jedi Fallen Order, and now Episode 9. Like, Episode 9 is 2 days away, by the way.
It's crazy.
Holy shit! As when this goes up,
it's insane. 2 days.
Ooh. Just. Cool myself down there.
The excitement is building.
I'm pretty hyped, and I've got a work Christmas party on opening night, and that kills me.
So
I'm going on Friday. Yeah. So the awards themselves. Now we're not going to dive into all the details and all that sort of thing.
Let's not go to esports. Let's not go to the stupid one, the Fortnite one, because I couldn't care less.
Yeah. They got Steph Curry to come out and present esports, which was weird.
He plays a real sport.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's famous. If you got an esport guy coming out, they're like, who's this guy?
Well, that Booga, whatever, the 16-year-old kid that won the Fortnite comp, that won like $3 million and then was doxxed over and over and over till he drove him off the internet, and swatted repeatedly. Yeah, he was the one that won. I think most people in the US still know, like, even if you're not a sports guy, you know who Steph Curry is because he's probably maybe behind LeBron, the biggest basketballer in the world, and probably in the top 5 sports people in the US. But
easily,
he's that big. But it's still a bit weird to wheel him out for it. But anyway, maybe the one that we'll focus most of our time on is Game of the Year. Did you expect it to be Sekiro?
Oh, I wouldn't have had a clue who would have won it. It was just one of those years where
It was so
it
even.
wasn't really a game that just stood out.
Yeah.
It's just more games that were good, but not great. Not everyone was a fan of them. So what'd you have? You had, when was it Smash Brothers is in there as a contender?
Smash from last year because it made it into this year's cutoff, but didn't make it into last year's. You had the Outer Worlds. You had Control.
That's
Control was in
Resident
there.
Evil 2.
Resident Evil 2, which was my choice, but I also haven't played a huge number of the games on the list this year. Death Stranding.
Yeah.
And then Sekiro. Yeah, and Shakira, yeah. And Shakira won, because her hips don't lie.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, Sekiro wins. I didn't see it coming. Even though I think it might have been the best reviewed game of the year. Like, if you just look at Metacritic and all that sort of thing, it was the best reviewed game of the year.
It was not a 7 out of 10.
No, it was not a 7 out of 10, apparently.
Just above 7 out of 10.
But it was also one of those ones that, for as good as it is, it's only a very limited number of people that get into it because the Souls,
Dark Soul,
Bloodborne,
Vibrant
Sekiro
Dark
thing
Souls.
is just too much for a lot of people. So instantly, I felt like that was just going to knock it out of the pack. I think it's why Bloodborne didn't win it. Well, it did come out in the same year as The Witcher 3 again. But why it didn't clean up more awards in 2015 is because
Witcher 3.
That genre, well, Witcher 3, but also that genre is, or that kind of subgenre is really off-putting to a lot of people.
It's like that Sons of the Forest. It's a cult following. It's either not everyone's a fan.
In the case of Souls and Bloodborne, a lot, much bigger cult following. But yeah, you're right. So I just thought that might be enough to kind of put people off, and that it'd end up becoming maybe like, well, I mean, Death Stranding had a lot of hype going into it.
Disappointment out afterwards for some, not all.
Yeah, I felt like there was almost more disappointment when the reviews came out than there was actually after the game came out. I think a lot of hype in the end afterwards as more people climb aboard. I still haven't done that yet, and I really want to, but and there was more and more people kind of starting, like, people initially thought Control was a bit of a dark horse, and then all of a sudden it won IGN's Game of the Year, and people going, oh shit, hang on, if this is reflective of the other votes, then maybe.
Well, clearly IGN weren't a fan of Shakiro.
They weren't, clearly weren't the same fan of Shakira that everyone else was. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame anyone for picking Sekiro or any of the other games there, because like you said, it's a super even year.
It was very flat. It was, nothing stood out.
Well, last year we had God of War and Red Dead, and you kind of, 80% of people were choosing between those two games, and then the other 20% might pick.
And then Spider-Man, if it was Spider-Man was in there too, but sort of got overshadowed by God of War and Red Dead 2. If Spider-Man came out this year, I reckon it would have won Game of the Year.
Well, keep in mind Assassin's Creed Odyssey was in last year as well, and people.
Oh yeah, and was Monster Hunter as well?
Yep.
Yeah.
And people were in love with it, but it was just one of those things like, people go, oh, it's the best Assassins ever, but man, did they pick a bad year to release it.
Any other year would have been fine.
Because there's plenty of people out there that say God of War is the best game of this generation. They're wrong.
I'll
it's
get
Witcher.
to it.
It's second best. But
I'll get to it one day.
Kratos will throw his axe at you.
Oh, he can call me boy if he wants, I don't care. I'll get to it.
Ruder boy. From the Game Awards last year.
Ruder boy.
So yeah, I mean, that's kind of it really. What would have been your pick for Game of the Year if you got to choose? And I know you haven't played everything, but neither had I. I'm in the Resident Evil 2 camp.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I've still got your copy here too, thanks to Kat from
I'll
Turn
get
Left.
to it. I'll get to it just like God of War.
I just missed the opportunity when we had basketball last week. If I realised that we're both playing at the same location, I would have brought it with me. But anyway, that's behind closed doors. Yeah,
next year
we'll sort it out.
Next year
we'll leave it conveniently at like some meeting point, and you can collect it.
Yeah, next year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A basketball bat.
February.
Yeah, that'd be good. First game back. Yeah, it's on for young and old.
It is on. Mainly old, but
yeah, there's more old than young. But anyway, well, not so much on my team.
Yeah, I have no idea what I would have picked.
I'm only saying Resident Evil because I played half.
It was a good
What did we say?
hamburger.
No, I didn't play Control. I didn't play Death Stranding. I didn't play Outer
I
Worlds.
didn't play. Oh no, I played Outer
didn't
Worlds.
play
But I would have
Sekiro.
thought.
No, so I played a
Would have
third.
thought
Of it.
Outer Worlds would have been a Game of the Year contender,
Yeah, but that
I looked
maybe
at it, I
says a
thought,
bit
it's
about the
good.
year.
but not great.
Yeah, it says a bit about the year. I think that a game
Yeah.
like that, not that it's bad, but it just kind of slipped through.
But Nintendo raked it in with the old kid family award.
Yeah, they were guaranteed to win an award.
Guaranteed, they were 100% guaranteed to get at least one game.
Was there a game that should have been nominated for the Game Awards that you think was kind of snubbed a little bit? That should have been nominated for Game of the Year?
No.
Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Oh well, I'm like
And
that.
I'm not saying that for Damo's benefit, because Damo's dead, as we
Yeah.
established. Or
He's cremated. He's
out-
reincarnated
yeah.
as Eminem.
Yeah, his ashes are in the M&M there. Fire Emblem Three Houses is very nearly my Game of the Year, and yet it didn't get a nomination. And in fact, I think that might be the highest game outside of Sekiro review score wise for the year. So who knows? It's one of those
they
weird
don't like
quirks.
Nintendo games. Discrimination.
Yeah, it's. I
Well,
can't
no,
believe
Fire
that.
Emblem won something. It was like
Yeah, it won the
voice.
best strategy game. Best strategy game.
Was it best voice? Or was that something else?
No, it definitely wasn't, because
Oh, my bad,
that was Mads Mikkelsen for Death Stranding that got best voice acting.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it got best strategy game, and just for what it's worth, Nintendo games don't actually get snubbed. I mean, the two best games, according to most of the critics in 2017, were Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey, and those were probably I mean, as much as I personally think it was Horizon, the best game of that year, 90% of people would have voted between those two games, and Horizon would have gotten some of the scraps.
Breath of the Wild was just The Witcher in cartoons.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what
But
it was.
not as good.
I played, yeah, not as good. I played a little bit of it years ago, and I thought, because I just came off The Witcher, I thought, this is like The Witcher, but
Empty.
worse. Like, why? I had a sword that lasted me 3 hits, and that was it. I thought,
I can't do this. Yeah,
I can't do this.
I
I
hate weapon degradation, but that's a whole other thing. Maybe that's a topic of
different story.
itself at one point. So, any final Game Awards related thoughts of any sort?
can we just not have an award for Fortnite? Just
Yeah, let's pretend it doesn't exist.
clear it
Should've
out.
given
Like,
it- should've
Apex
given it to
Legend winning
Apex.
best multiplayer. Good job, Respawn.
Geez, they've had a good year, and it'll be interesting to see if Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order makes it into next year's nomination, since it missed the cut for this year.
I say no.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, it's going to miss out.
It's probably going to miss out because there's that whole recency bias thing, and the fact that 2020 could be the best year in games ever.
Since 2015. No, 2018.
What did I
Or
say? What was
15.
in our thing?
Oh,
No.
don't know.
1996, I think I said.
No, it was 96 or 2009?
Or 2013, I said.
Or 2009? Or 2008? I can't remember.
I think you went with 2008. Is that the Fallout 3 year?
Oh, it might have been.
And
Was it 96? What was 96?
96 was
remember.
Ocarina of Time, and
Oh, that was a good year.
and all, yeah. There was like StarCraft and all that sort of stuff. That was a big year.
That was a
2013's
good
one
year.
for me as well, because you've got Bioshock Infinite,
What-
GTA 5, Last of Us,
Oh, yeah, it was two. Yeah,
Tomb
no, it
Raider
was
reboot, etc.
Yeah, that was a good year too.
But anyway, that was one of our other topics. You can also go back to your podcast feed and the YouTube playlist and go and find that episode as well. What
It's
is the
also
best
it's called
year for
Best
games?
Game of the Year.
Yeah,
Or, yeah,
something like that.
where we don't agree at all.
On a single thing. So that has been this episode of Patched. If you've enjoyed it, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. All the buttons down below here, including that notification bell, which you should smash the shit out of, so that you get notified of every video the moment it goes live on the channel. That includes more of this, The Insider, Play 2 Plays, Late Game Review, Gamer School, and a whole lot more. Be sure to go and check out all that goodness, because there's lots of goodness. Visit the website player2.net.au, where you'll find reviews, previews, opinion pieces, news, features, the Player 2 Writer's Draft, links to the podcasts, so this in audio form, if that is your thing. The Player 2 Pixelcast, we've got a few episodes rolling out. Sadistic Santa was last week, and he gave me one hell of a turd of a game to play.
What was it?
It was called Legend of Persia. I'd asked for Divinity Original Sin 2, I got Legend of Persia.
Is that
So
just
it wasn't-
is that just like a mix between Prince of Persia and Legend of Zelda?
If both of the games that were being mixed into it in the first place were shit, and then the product was even shitter, then yes, that's exactly what it would be.
Weird.
So it was a turd, and Santa is massive fuckbag. But anyway,
Kids are going to cry around Australia now since you said that.
Yeah, sadistic Santa is sadistic.
Cried in their sleep.
We also call sadistic Santa Matt Hewson. So Matt, you heard what I just called you.
Fight him.
Dev Diary goes live this week on Thursday, so go subscribe to Dev Diary on podcast feeds. We've got a new guest there. I haven't revealed it officially yet, but by the time most of you listen to this, it'll already be up as well. So Rich from Bethesda, he is joining me, / Zenimax is joining me for this one. Rich, he's a lot of Elder Scrolls Online, doing some really great stuff there, so go and check that one out. Rich Lambert specifically. Then there is Patreon. We're on patreon.com/player2au, kicking a few bucks. Lower tiers, you get early access to episodes. High tiers, there's exclusives. And then there's Twitter. All the stuff's at the bottom here. Matto _Phil.
Matto_Phil.
Paul James
That's
Games for me.
Tacos Talks.
Was Tacos Talks. And Player2au for the website. Until next time, where maybe we will have recruited, I don't know, Shakira so that Damo has the opportunity to die twice.
Or James Bond.
Yeah, or maybe that too, yeah.
Twice.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Until next time, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.